I reset my thermostat. I had a thermostat problem.
Yeah.
And I have this thermostat that was in this house when I bought it 14 years ago. And I've never had any problems with it. But, it's getting cold outside now. At night, it's dropped below freezing a couple of nights, which means it's time for the house to be heated. And I was like, it seems kind of cold in here. What the heck's going on? And the thermostat was a digital thermostat, and it read 62 degrees that it was set at. And it said the temperature in the house was 62 degrees, and it was definitely colder than 62 degrees. And I was like, this. And so I took off the faceplate, and I looked at it, and I looked up the model number and the manufacturer and all this stuff. And I found all these PDFs of all these complicated manuals that are only meant for properly trained, heating technicians and all this crap. And I call the company, and they're like, well, we only put our label on it. We don't actually manufacture it. And we're the distributors for this other. And I'm like 5 companies in, and I'm like, what the heck? Can you just tell me how to reset this thing, or see if I need to call someone to come in, or if there's a way to actually just turn my heat back on? And they're like, I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do. You're going to have to call a technician. I was like, okay, well, that's cool. But still, there's got to be a way to reset this thing. What the heck? And I read all the stuff, and there's nothing. And finally, I was like, I'm just going to figure this out myself. So I took everything apart. I completely powered down the house. I took all the batteries out. I pressed all the buttons in weird configurations, and reassembled everything, and presto, instant heating technician. I successfully reset the thermostat.
You rocked its world, huh?
I rocked that thermostat all over the place. It was great. Great.
It feels good, doesn't it, when you figure that type of stuff out?
It does. It does. I love solving problems I've never solved before.
Cool. Very cool. What else is going on?
What else is going on? What else is going on is I unfortunately had to canvass the neighborhood earlier today. I printed out 50 flyers that I wrote up on a Google Doc about our missing black cat.
Oh man, bummer.
I not too long ago had 4 cats. They're old. The one like 16, 17-year-old cats that were in great shape. Still are, 2 of them anyway, are in great shape and look much, 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 much younger than they are. We always feed them good food and everything and treat them well. But Moonin, 17 years old.
Moonin?
Moonin. So Moonin and Hugin are Odin's. They're Odin's 2 ravens, and they sit on. Odin is the Norse, god, like king of the gods, right? He's kind of like the Norse Zeus, right? And he's Thor's dad. And Odin has one eye, and he's super wise, has big beard, and he has 2 ravens that sit on his shoulders, Hugin and Moonin. And Hugin and Moonin mean thought and memory, and they fly all around the world and check on all the goings on in the 9 worlds of all of all reality, and then they fly back to Odin and they whisper in his ear and they tell him what's happening.
What's what?
Yeah. Well, anyway, our cat Moonin, we called him Moondini because as he they're indoor cats, and but had claws.
He's an escape artist.
Yeah, of all the other cats, he as he got older and older, he was like, "Screw this! I'm going outside, whether you like it or not, buddy." And I live in like 100-year-old house. If you really push on some of the windows, they'll open. And so this cat just kept on escaping every day as he got older and older, and he started going a little deaf. And I was like, he really loves spending time outside. And he'd go outside and he'd lay on the driveway all day long and just love it. And I was like, all right, this cat's getting older. I should let him enjoy his time outside. I found out that he puked a lot less because he ate a lot more grass, had a lot less cat.
They know what they need.
Yeah. And I was like, all right. And so all spring and all summer, I was letting him out every day and basically just like leaving windows open so he could go in and out whenever he wanted to. And he was so happy. And then poof, gone. So I had to, so I sat down, and we're talking about copywriting today. We should talk about your email soon. I sat down and I wrote a letter to my neighbors to find my cat for me. And
nice.
I think we should talk a little bit more about that, maybe a little bit later in the live stream, about just the power and the magic of copywriting and how you can basically use it to get anything you want. Right?
Yeah, I agree.
So with that said, what's up with this casket?
Well, should I just explain it by way of reading it, and then we can chat about it?
Yeah, well, we've been talking about cool, effective, engaging, entertaining, and emotionally captivating emails for the last few days. And we've been reading some of our best and most successful, most memorable and effective emails. And this is the first one that we've read of yours.
Yeah, this is a very early one. This is before I launched NPod or anything of that nature. I was, this was, I think, in 2000, actually, year 2000, when I first wrote this email. So it's pretty cool. And there's lots of stuff. I know where to get discount caskets. True. Cool.
No.
Good to know.
Right.
Mr. Vogelman. By the way, my mother's maiden name, my biological mother's maiden name was Vogel. So I don't know if there's any relation to Vogelman and Vogel, but that is interesting. Anyway, I digress. So should I just kind of dive in and then we can talk about different elements of it?
Yeah. Well, before you read this, what kind of list was this sent to?
This was sent to the only list I had at the time, other than when I was working for clients, which was my my first info product that was for how to become successful in network marketing. And the name of the product was How to Make People Stand in Line and Beg to Join Your Network. Yeah. Great. And so that's kind of the positioning. It's interesting because this was before the whole experience that ended up launching NPod for me. But it was, I had figured some stuff out, but I had still kept it accidentally. Actually, I believe I was already working with Kevin Wilkie at the time, because Kevin was a member of my list, and he would reach out to me and say, "Hey, what do you think about doing this? And what do you think about doing that?" And so I finally said to him, "Hey, I don't have the time to do it, but I'll tell you what, you run with it, and I'll sit back." And so I think it was right around there, and we set it up so that anything over and above the current results that I was getting from the system, that we would split the increase in revenues, and then he just made it happen. And from there, that's when he kind of got into the entire internet marketing business from there.
Awesome. All right. So and this was, roughly what year do you think?
2000. I'm almost positive, based on just reading over the content now, that it was in the year 2000, because all the stuff that I'm talking about in there actually happened in 2000.
So yeah, that was before my time. That's the year I became a hypnotherapist.
Cool.
Awesome.
All right. So should we dig into it and then we can chat about stuff, or what do you want? What do you want to do? Yeah,
let's dive right in.
Okay, cool. All right, so the subject line was, "The casket was to my left." Then, "Hi, FirstName. The casket was to my left. I was smack in the middle of a heart-wrenching eulogy in honor of the loving woman who nurtured and raised me. All of a sudden, some unplanned words of wisdom just leaped from my mouth. The message even surprised me. It was like God, or something outside me anyway, was whispering in my ear. And you know what? Somehow it was exactly what the 300 plus people at the funeral, including me, desperately needed to hear at the moment. It effortlessly poured from my heart. It was very powerful. I know this because almost every one of those 300 plus people went out of their way to tell me so. But the most meaningful comment came from a successful entrepreneur and powerhouse speaker. She told me with glassy eyes and a slight quiver in her voice that my message was the answer to a personal crisis she faced. Let me tell you, it could not have come at a better time for me. You see, the last 4 months have been bittersweet, to say the least. Actually, among the toughest, most challenging, yet most exciting, passionate, joy-filled, not to mention absolutely the most lucrative, bar none, of my life. Here's just a sample of what I experienced. In the last 4 months, I was lucky enough to marry the most fantastic woman in the whole world. The bitter part, a week before our wedding, her mother died very unexpectedly. Actually, this deepened the love and bond between us more than I can ever explain. Then I got the long-awaited news that I was going to be a daddy and had tears well up in my eyes as I heard his or her thundering heartbeat for the first time. I helplessly watched 3 grandparents pass away, but built a deep connection and strong friendship with my father-in-law while helping him through the shock and grief of losing his wife. And in the midst of all of it, managed to squeeze in a little business in between. Open parentheses. Yeah, that's a laugh. Business has actually never been better or busier, which, as it turns out, is going to allow a few subscribers, maybe you, a unique opportunity to cash in big time. I've got something up my sleeve that's so amazing, such an incredible technological and marketing breakthrough that it will make you more money than having the exclusive marketing rights to Viagra. And Viagra, by the way, it had just been like the rage back then. It was just, the little blue pill. And then I said, okay, this is big, referring to the teaser, right? And then I put in parentheses, pun intended. More on this later. Life's like that, isn't it? It's a mixture of stress, joy, disappointment, and triumph. Quite a paradox. Often what you think is something really bad turns out to be a blessing in disguise if you look for the hidden benefit and let it unfold. Whatever. It's probably time I got off my soapbox and got down to MLM business. What's that, you say? Before we shift gears, you want to know what I said at the funeral? Hold your horses, I'll get to it. But first, ... And then I went into the whole purpose of why I was really writing them the email to begin with.
Wow. So awesome. So awesome. Very, very, very cool. There are so many levels to what was going on with that. So that was set in 2000, you said?
Yes. That was because actually it might have been 1999 because it was 99. I take it back. It wasn't 2000, it was 99 because I got married in 99 and Amy was born in 2000.
Cool. So,
by the way, a spoiler, the heartbeat turned out to be a little girl, obviously.
Right.
I didn't know that at the time when I wrote the email, though.
Very cool. So, I guess, what was the big result? Like, what happened when you sent this email out?
Well, it's interesting because it was polarizing because I got some people that were on my list because they liked the positive affirmations and they're part of that crowd and the personal development crowd, and they immediately said, I'm unsubscribing from this because it's too negative. I'm not on your list to hear about death and doom.
Right.
And I actually celebrated those types of emails that I got when the unsubscribes came because the positive side so far outweighed the few minor people that got their feathers ruffled the wrong way. And the lesson, although I didn't know it at the time, now I included that that actual example came from the NPOD course that I put together, but I didn't put that together till 2003 into 2004 in that time frame. And but I use it as as an example of giving people insight into my real life and giving them a connection with what's going on for me, not just trying to sell them shit, and to really, really, really let them in and give them a slice of my life and bond with them by sharing a story that was very, very personal to me. And at the time, I mean, I was in tears, and even writing it, I was so connected with it that I was in tears writing it.
Yeah.
I doubt back then that I would have even been able to read it like I did now. I mean, obviously, I'm so far, that's 21 years ago. So,
yeah. Interesting. It was 21 years ago, and spam filters were much less sensitive than they are now, I'd like to point out.
Yeah, I wonder if that would get filtered. What do you think would get? Well, probably the Viagra. Yeah.
Yeah, the Viagra would fuck you. No, but like the Viagra would totally get you. And I don't know, there are a couple hypey phrases around money that might set us.
You're funny, Christopher. A healthy form of bondage, emotional bonding.
Nice. See, this is what happens. This is what happens when we let Joshua read one of his emails.
Yeah.
So good. So good. So you wrote this email, it went out, it got a great response.
Yeah. Christopher said, weird. I thought it was super positive. Perception really is reality. Absolutely. And I guess the moral of the story is, Christopher and Telman and everybody else that's being a voyeur right now and not being on the message boards, is that it was divisive in a way. I didn't think it was. I just thought it was a provocative. Like, I mean, it meant something to me, and I knew it would get people's attention. The casket was to my left. Like, what is this? What's going on? But the positive responses, the people and that may have been the first real, like sharing that I just put it all out there to my list, and they became super responsive after that.
Right.
And, and not just to like my emails, but they responded to that one for sure. And they all, but I think that a big piece of it was that people could relate to the highs and lows, and that big back then, as it is still today, was Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. And one of the big, most quoted, it's quoted so often now that it's become cliche almost, is that, every negative event or situation that happens in your life has the seed of equal or greater opportunity in it if you keep an eye out for it. So that's kind of like was my version of it, to show both sides of the fence. Although it really that was real for me. Like I had life was never better and never worse in terms of the emotional. And even it was weird though, because even the emotional upheaval of it in a way felt good. I don't want to I know that sounds weird. It was like, I wasn't scared of the vulnerability anymore. I wasn't scared of the issues. And so it became cathartic to share that. And I think it gave a lot of people permission to do the same with me, but also to take that. I mean, the lesson basically is, and how that applies into the network marketing is that your network only grows as, it's not about selling people in network marketing. It's right. About enrolling people. And to do that, you have to care about them as people, right? Like you can't be just pushing and pushing and pushing. You've got to really truly care, because what matters isn't if you can enroll somebody or if you can sell somebody on signing up. What matters is, can you empower them
Right.
to teach other people to do it? So that was kind of like the beginning of that for me, I guess.
That is funny. That one idea around network marketing reminds me of team sports, actually. And for me, I didn't really play team sports other than running cross country,
I never played any team sports either. Good.
But the coach would empower the kids, and the kids would feel so good about themselves that they'd ask their friends to join the team because it was such a great experience.
Right.
So,
right.
And that's it. Right. I mean, that's the essence. Very interesting.
You just fired a neuron in my brain. Can I share another story real quick?
Please.
So I did this in the midst of my big successes in network marketing, prior to me writing the book and prior to me building the info business around it, and prior to me getting into the internet space and doing all this, I took this real in-depth personal development training. And part of the deal was that they wanted they worked completely by referral. So it was kind of like network marketing in general. And what was interesting to me is that when I did the initial, there was, beginners, advanced, the upper levels. And then there was like this leadership program where you extend with it. So I had such a transformational experience in the first training. I mean, it altered me forever in ways that I can't even explain verbally. And it's funny because, like, Kathy, who's now my wife, but back then she was my girlfriend, and actually we didn't have any plans, and we were dating, but the plan was that we weren't going to get married, that it was just going to be a fun stopgap in between her marriage and my marriage, our first marriages, and that we were just going to hang out. But as a result of this, anyway, so I opened my eyes, and she was there to greet us in the graduates in the circle, and I just looked at her and had just this smile and this peace about me. And she looked at me and she goes, "I have no idea what went on here, but I want to feel like you are feeling right now. I don't know what happened, and she turned around, walked to the back of the room and paid for enrollment. And I literally did not say a word to her. And interesting thing happened after that is that I went back to my network marketing, and I went back to all of it, where I was already a leader at that point. I was already doing my thing and having success. And I went back as a different person, though. And I didn't try to enroll anybody, but I ended up, of the people that were in that group, I ended up enrolling in this personal development training. I think it was like 20 something people that signed up as a result. And all I did was I was just being, I was just in that state. And so it was such a different place for me to stand, because up to that point, I was trying to convince people to join the network marketing deal. I was trying to sell people.
Right.
And that's when I learned about enrollment and the difference between enrollment and selling. And I carried that over to all of my internet marketing, all of my direct response marketing, all of my client work. And that's what I try to do with all of my marketing, is make it a journey of discovery and enrollment that becomes the other person's idea to push forward. So anyway.
Well, great way to bridge the gap to what I was thinking about earlier. Anyway, so this is okay. So I had this missing black cat. Still have a black cat, by the way. I should have acted on the black cat situation much sooner. The first few days, I was like, oh, because it didn't
come back.
few days before, what I mean?
Right.
And would regularly sleep out overnight. And then all of a sudden I was on a camping trip for a few days after that. And then it had been a week, and then I had another thing come up, and then I kept forgetting. So it actually disappeared a few weeks ago. And I just put the flyers out.
Did you actually know that?
I did.
I mean, did you catch it when it actually happened?
I did. And I kept on getting distracted from writing the thing up and printing it out and putting it in 50 mailboxes all throughout the neighborhood. But I did that this morning, right? And I had written the ad in my mind in the last couple of weeks, and the headline. So I'm going to read this ad to you.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. But the headline, the pre-head is, "Can you help our family find our," and then it says in giant, bold, black, underlined, all caps, "missing black cat," right? And I was actually going to offer a reward, but I forgot to write that in there. So it says, "We're a family of 4 with 2 kids. We've lived at 300 Western Avenue for 14 years. Our 17-year-old black cat, Moonin, pronounced Moo-nin, suddenly disappeared approximately 3 weeks ago. Will you help us find him?" And then I go on to describe exactly what he's looked like. He's male, neutered, all black except for a white triangle under his neck, and also on the front of his chest, and a white booty on his rear left foot. He also happens to look almost exactly like another black cat in the neighborhood who has black whiskers. Moonin, our cat, has white whiskers. Foolishly, he also has no collar on at the moment. He's very friendly, calm, a bit on the skinny side. His claws are on all paws. He loves to eat, snuggle, and really loves warm spots to nuzzle his head into. He's also mostly deaf. He probably found a nice home in a neighbor's house who's giving him all the food he could possibly eat. If you found him or seen him, please call me or text me. And then I signed it from me and my kids. And
nice.
So
that's awesome, man. That's a great.
So the thing is that I didn't have any pictures of him because I don't know. I'm not one of those people that takes tons of pictures of their cats, and so I didn't have a good picture. So that was a bummer, or at least not a good one that I could find. And as I was writing it, I was like, okay, I want a headline. And then I folded it so that when they saw it in the mailbox, it was like, "missing black cat," in giant letters. And I was like, I just wrote a letter to the universe to get my cat back. I just went around and stuck it in everybody's mailbox while wearing a mask, of course. And I wonder what'll happen. And then I went and I took the same ad this is an ad. Okay. The reason I'm telling you this is an ad, just like the emails that we're writing.
Right.
Is I stuck it on a Facebook post in our town's Facebook group. And while we were live streaming here, somebody wrote that they had seen a cat matching that description, not in my neighborhood, and it could totally be hanging.
Oh, wow.
That's
in the cool.
So I don't know if it's the same cat or not. I mean, it's a black cat, there are a lot of,
but it's getting, I mean, like the thing that I really digged about the way that you put that together is the emotional connection. Your love for the cat came through, and it made me, like, thousands of miles away from you, want to go out and look for the cat for you and see if I could help out, and but nice touch by having your kids sign off with it too. That was really smart.
So, but it made me think about something. And
what's that?
What it made me think about is the day that Josh Burns applied to work for me. And so Josh Burns became an extraordinary copywriter and then a business partner. We went to the same college, but not at the same time. And he lives locally. And he worked with me for like 7 or 8 years, before we partnered up. And I remember I was doing a teleseminar, and some old, weird, rattly car pulled into my driveway, and some bearded, disheveled dude got out of this car and slammed his door. And I was like, oh no, someone's going to go ring my doorbell while I'm doing a teleseminar. And I'm in my office, but I'm like, oh, I hate it when this happens. And it happened all the time. I'd be in the middle of a teleseminar, always get interrupted. and he had a yellow folder under his arm, a yellow folder. And so, like clockwork, he rang the freaking crazy loud doorbell, and I think I made comment of it on the teleseminar. Anyway, after I wrapped the teleseminar, I went up to find out what was going on, and Jody gave me this folder that she had taken from this guy, and inside was what looked like a direct response marketing sales letter with a big, bold red Tahoma headline and a pre-head and a post-head and a Dear Tillman, and he wrote the whole letter, and he was asking to work for me. And he had read or heard that I was looking for an assistant, and he had heard my name because we went to the same small college, and we had common friends, but we just didn't know each other. And he had been hearing my name for years, and I think what happened was I put an ad in the like a crazy ad in the newspaper for the eccentric internet hypnotist looking for marketing assistant or something,
Right.
and he didn't. He jumped. I set up all these hoops to jump through, all these voicemails to do it, and he did all the things. But then I never got back to him because I was busy with other stuff.
Shocker.
And he was pissed, and so he just wrote this letter, and he brought the letter to the front door, and the letter was him asking for exactly the job that he wanted from me and giving it to me in a way that we did all of our marketing for our company. Because he looked me up and found all these direct response sales letters online and copied the format in his application.
Nice. Can I tell you something?
Please.
I don't think I've ever told anybody this before. In 1994, maybe it was 93, shortly after I got into direct response marketing, I learned about Gary Halbert. I just moved to Florida after spending 6 months down here, and I was enthralled with Gary Halbert. I didn't know who John Carlton was at the time, even though I loved his marketing. Didn't know it, but Jay Abraham. And I did the exact same thing that you did, or that Josh Burns did with you, with Jay Abraham.
Interesting.
I didn't follow up and show up on his doorstep and insist, but it's very funny because I did the exact same thing. I copied one of his brilliant sales letters and sent it to him, and I celebrated the fact that I actually followed through and did it rather than just thinking about it. Anyway, sorry, I digress.
Well, when we're telling emotional and personal stories, or that's where this started. I mean, that's one of the ways to really connect with people emotionally, right?
Yeah.
And that's one way of writing within an email or a sales letter or whatever. But it's the thing that just really was, for whatever reason, lighting up in my mind today was the idea. I remember hearing this about the Beatles, and I looked it up before our call here about, and I don't know that this is even true. I assume it is, but it's an assumption, is, John Lennon and Paul McCartney were sitting down, and, they'd say, hey, let's write ourselves a swimming pool. Right. Yeah,
that is true.
Well, I think it's true. I mean, I know a lot of copywriters and marketers talk about it from stage, and this idea of, number one, asking for what you want. So most people never even get there. Okay. Most people are so culturally brainwashed that it's impolite to ask for what you want, or that you don't deserve what you really want, or if you ask for what you really want, you're somehow a horrible human being, or whatever garbage, right? Is most people just, that was crushed out of them as a child. I mean, look, who doesn't know a kid? Maybe you were this kid that was super obnoxious, always asking for exactly what they want and never stopping. I was that kid. Okay. I was obnoxious about it. and
I
I've
can't even imagine it.
but like I see and hear parents crushing their children's souls all the time by
Yeah.
barking at them and talking down to them for asking for what they want, right? And maybe there's a time and place to correct that. But I'll tell you what, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a salesperson of any sort, and or as a copywriter, the better you get at asking for exactly what you want in no uncertain terms, and ideally in very clear and even better, entertaining terms, it gets great. And I've seen time and time and time again, like if you want a job, find 25 companies you want to work for and write them the letter about the perfect job that you want to have and how you're going to solve all their problems by you working for them, whether or not there's a help wanted ad anywhere, right?
Right.
If you want a perfect house or a perfect apartment or a perfect living situation.
There's an underlying assumption that I know both of us automatically do, but I just want to make sure that we point it out. And that's that it is not about us writing the letter. It is written about solving the person's problems, and what you're asking for is framed such that you're asking to help them solve their problems. And that's a big distinction, because sometimes if it's all about you, then it loses sight of like doing something for somebody. And then it's all of a sudden, when you ask for it, it's in their best interest, but it also happens to be what you want simultaneously. So it truly is a win-win.
But you can do that in any area of your life, right?
So, Dean?
So I've been back in the dating game a little bit, right? Since this whole divorce mess and all these types of things. And I signed up for some dating apps, and I've been learning how to use dating apps. And I was like, these things suck, right? It's not that awesome. And what happened was, I bought a course. I'm not going to tell you what course, but I bought a course that was actually created by a marketer and a direct response marketer. And they took the entire idea of dating apps, and you use the dating app and think about creating your own dating funnel. Okay. And you are the product. All right. You're selling yourself. And so
have you ever seen Gary Halbert's?
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
Page. Yeah.
I mean, that's a much earlier.
That's it.
We should read that.
Yes, we should. And I've got the headline memorized. Actually, and I could pull it right up right now and do it.
So I maybe a different live stream, because I mean it's a long letter, right?
Oh yeah.
Hilarious
though.
What we should do is we should start reading some of our favorite, not just our own marketing pieces. We should start reading.
Better other people's. Yeah.
Right? And especially pre-internet stuff that's not going to fire off like various types of spam filters and that kind of crap. So yeah, we should read that. So what was I even saying? Something about something.
The dating app. And
so I took this course, and the idea is basically when you match with someone on a dating app, like they're essentially opting into your list. All right.
Good point. Yeah.
They're saying, yes, I'm interested. And there are all of these different ways to optimize your profile to get the highest conversion of exactly the types of people that you're looking for. And one of the biggest reasons to do this is, you want to use every single character you possibly can. You want to write long copy. You want to be as engaging as possible. And you want to write up in your profile, not about yourself. You want to write exactly about the perfect person that you're actually looking for. So when the person reads it, they're like,
where have you been all my life?
They're looking for me.
Yeah.
They're looking for me. right? And so it's not about just like writing an ad to find a cat or to get a job or to find a house, but you can find a partner. You can find
Ruben Neal just said that I was getting clients through a dating app. That's interesting. I'd love to know that story.
I would interview you on that. That would be hilarious. Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, what kind of clients were you getting? And
yeah,
what problem were you helping? Were you getting?
And were you actually looking for a romance at the same time, or was that just all a ploy to get new clients?
Either way, I'm very curious.
Yeah,
and
how it went.
Yeah, wow, I could probably hypnotize people to be more comfortable speaking to folks of the opposite sex, for example.
I bet that's huge.
Pain and stress
management specialist. Wow.
Oh, that's interesting. As a dating app, just basically write a professional ad as if you're like not. That's great. If you talk about how good you are at X, Y, and Z. Wow, Christopher, what is going on with you? You're all on fire.
He's all about play on words today.
That's right. That's right. Show me where it hurts. Nice. That's good. That's
nice
and classy too. That's very funny. How are you doing, by the way? It's been a long time since we've connected. I hope you're well. So check this out though. So we're talking about vulnerable or emotionally connecting and activating stories and writing. We're talking about talking from our personal life and personal experience in order to connect with people on the other side, right? On the other side of our
right,
clock.
right.
And I had a really interesting thought while you were talking on this earlier, Joshua.
Tell me.
Okay, so I want you to think about this like two sides of a coin. Okay?
Okay.
The first side of the coin is when you're in a movie theater before COVID happened, or you're watching a movie, and for some people, you're reading a story, right?
The force is strong with Christopher today. Says the creativity is strong with this one. Your stories are stimulating. Well, we'll take that all day long, Christopher.
I appreciate all of your commentary. You're just a funny dude.
All right, now I'm gonna stop being distracted and listen and pay attention to you, Tillman.
What was I saying? All right, so
some thought triggered for you.
So this is cool. So when you're watching a movie or reading a book, and you completely lose track of time,
everything,
and the rest of the world because you're completely engulfed in the story.
Yes.
Okay. So that happens when someone tells a story that's so convincing that you feel like you're part of it. Okay. On the other side, when you have an emotional experience in your life that is so emotionally intense, whether someone dies, whether you fall in love, whether you're having a child, there are a bunch of like pretty core and common emotionally intense experiences that most of us have several of these over the course of our lifetime, where it's not about watching the movie, but you're experiencing something in life that is so emotionally intense, you completely lose awareness of yourself and you lose awareness of everything and everyone that might be going on around you because you're so drawn into this experience.
Right.
That's the other side of the coin. So one side is you're listening, watching, observing someone else's story, and it completely sucks you into it to the point where you lose track of the outside world. Okay, that's one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is you have a life experience that's so emotionally captivating and all-encompassing that you forget about the outside world.
Yeah.
So the coin is the story. And the magic is when you learn how to move to the other side of the coin. So as a marketer, copywriter, influencer, as someone who's building a list, building an audience, building a platform, your job is to notice the moments in your life where you forget about everything else because you're so emotionally part of it, and to tell that story.
That's a great tip.
Right.
That's awesome.
Really good way. So get better at noticing those, at becoming aware after the fact when you have an all-encompassing experience. That's a good look at that. An
all-encompassing experience. Yeah. That's
good.
awesome.
And that's a new one right there. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. An all-encompassing experience. So you had an all-encompassing experience, and then that becomes your content for an email, for a video, for a sales letter, whatever. Assuming you can find a way of looping it back around to whatever.
Right.
If you're looking for ways of getting better at emotionally engaging on a large scale with people, that's a huge shortcut.
I love that idea. That's awesome, man.
And then
nice
you can write a letter to get exactly what you want by asking for exactly what you want in no uncertain terms.
Hashtag all-encompassing experience.
That's right. Christopher, Joshua, you're going to hate me for this, but what do you sell? What do you sell, Christopher? Tell me. What do you sell?
Sunglasses.
These are funny sunglasses. You know why these are funny?
Because they're yours?
These are Oakley Mars sunglasses from the mid-90s. And they came out when I was in high school. And I was obsessed with the most eccentric Oakley sunglasses at the time. And that obsession never died off. And I couldn't come anywhere close to afford them. They're $300 a piece at the time, right? And many years later, I ended up buying a box of them completely unopened on eBay. And I spent like $6,000 buying like 30 pairs of these sunglasses or something. And
what's another example of that type of thing where you wanted it your entire life, and when you finally made some money, you went out and bought it? Do you have any other examples of that? I'm sure you do.
I'm sure that I don't have that many examples of that. Like, I didn't go out and buy like my dream car because I'm not really into cars. I bought a dream home, but it was on a whim. And it wasn't like I had always wanted that home. Yeah, I don't have that many examples of that, but those crazy sunglasses are one of them. I definitely have, like, once I find something that I really like, I will tend to buy like 50 of them so that I have them for the rest of my life. Like certain articles of clothing and that kind of stuff. Like I'll have, 30 of them, and half of them are still in the original wrapping or whatever that I can tap into when my old ones fall apart.
Okay, cool.
I have a giant.
Christopher answered your question. So do you want to read it? You want to read it?
Sure. Christopher sells coaching programs to professionals, mostly doctors, who want to escape the office for more free time, fun, and funds with their own online business. Awesome. Rad. Very cool. Very cool. How long have you been doing that? Awesome.
Obviously a while, because he's got that statement dialed. That's awesome. That's very clear. It's very, your messaging is awesome.
Yeah, that's great. Very cool. Very cool. Mostly doctors. That's fascinating. You're going to get smart people. You're going to get people who are willing to invest in their education. You're going to get people who have money, and you're going to get people who are trapped in a
because a lot of they're still in the time for money trap. They're just making good money for their time, but
and they're smarter than their bosses, but they still have to do the grunt work, right? So like, only 18 months. Thank you, dude. Now that's smart. Targeting doctors who want to escape, especially during COVID. Holy crap.
The exam room. Yeah, there you go.
God. So good. Escape the exam room. That's great.
Brilliant.
Killer. No pun intended.
We hope.
Oh my. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, let's do the generous creative businessman seeks blah, blah, blah tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm down.
All right, cool.
I'm totally down.
I think we could really create some coolness by reviewing thing, ads and such that have changed our lives.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we can totally read other ads, and we should. Not losing sight of email, I think, is important.
But all of it applies.
Totally
all
applies.
of it applies.
Totally applies.
Because, a good story, a good presentation can be awesome in email.
Awesome.
Thank you, Christopher. You're damn cool yourself. Takes one to know one. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's right. Guys, if you're enjoying these live streams and you want more, they and many, many, many more are inside our private group called The Art of Email Marketing. If you'd like to become a member, then type email in all caps into the comments, and I will send you type email and shoot me a private message, and I will make sure that you get an invitation personally into the group. And if you're interested in learning more about supercharging your email marketing, growing your email list, and becoming better and better and better at connecting with your audience and serving them with the products and services that they're looking for, so that you can make more money with less effort, build an automated, scalable business online, we'd happily chat with you. You can go ahead and schedule an appointment at www.letstalkprivately. I have a handful of spots available over the next few days if you're interested in exploring growing your business with the unstoppable power of email marketing. Before we log off, I was thinking about a challenge.
Okay.
And we can talk about this more later. But guys, I'm curious, for those of you that are watching, just tell me if this sounds at all good to you. Many, many, many years ago, ironically enough, we haven't talked about him today, but Sean Casey and I did a giant launch. And as part of that giant launch, we did a squeeze-a-thon. That's right. And the squeeze-a-thon was a limited time contest where you had to follow our simple instructions to get your first squeeze page, thank you page, and autoresponder set up.
Nice.
Now, I don't remember exactly what we gave people for completing the contest. And I know that people were allowed to compete. Was it?
Didn't Sean Casey give away the Ferrari that he got from Eben Pagan?
Well, I want to point out that was jointly owned by me and Sean Casey, and we both decided to give it away. We never brought it to Vermont. He kept it at his house because I was like, why would I bring a Ferrari to Vermont? That seems right. I don't even want a Ferrari, you know? Like it would last a week in Vermont and then would be done forever. So the Squeeze-a-thon was a free contest that we did as part of our launch, and I think we actually did it as part of the launch of List Building Club. And what we did was we took like 7 or 10 of the best videos that we had in our List Building Club training, and those videos showed people exactly how to set up a squeeze page, set up a thank you page, set up an autoresponder, right, and exactly what tools to use. And they were paid tools. And I was thinking about doing a list building challenge where we help people to set everything up and to start building their list and to start generating traffic. Essentially, to kind of like do several of the physical tasks that are necessary in order to set up your first NPod, right? Like on the mechanical side of things, not the psychological, not the deep marketing stuff, but just learn how to set up a freaking squeeze page for the first time and having it work.
Get it started. Yeah. Get it in motion. Yep.
It's not about like whether this is going to make you $1 million. It's about, will you get it done in the next 72 hours or whatever the thing is.
Right.
And possibly have the whole list building challenge start with a referral contest, right? And say, step one.
That's got some legs. Yeah.
Step one is spread the word about the contest to get going. If you've had, whether this is your first business or your fifth, if you're stuck at start on building your email list and you really need to get whether you're looking for a new traffic source or whatever, then here's the steps you need to follow in order to pull it off. And that way, I think we could get thousands and thousands and thousands of people to get their squeeze pages up and to be putting effort into getting traffic to those pages. Probably building.
Well, it fits into 99 days. It fits into, yeah.
I mean, so anyway, I was thinking about that this morning, and I think it might be really cool.
I like it a lot.
For people. Awesome. Ferrari in Vermont, the maple syrup massacres.
Stuck at start. Ooh, nice.
That's right. That's right. Christopher's on fire.
Yes, he is. Squeeze-a-thon, ? No bad touch, as in can't be squeezing people.
All right.
With COVID. With COVID.
That's only with consent. It's with consent, Christopher. COVID consent. That's right. All right. Brainwashing, Christopher. I want to be clear. This is not brainstorming. It was all brainwashing.
Yeah, he did it to us.
That's it. Awesome, guys. Well, I hope to see you guys soon. Thank you for all the commentary and engaging banter, Christopher. We hope to see you again.
And everybody else, too.
Awesome. And thank you, Joshua, for a great live stream. Looking forward to
right back at you.
To do a little celebration of Gary Halbert.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Awesome.
There's a lot to celebrate there. See ya.
I agree. Later. Bye.
Bye.